so far, Pax Dickinson has been banned, the CTO of Researcher. And if you recall, how he rose to fame 3 years ago when he got fired by Business Insider. Richard Spencer has been banned from Twitter. Richard Spencer of NPI and Radix. Radix's account has been banned. NPI's account has been banned from Twitter. Twitter even went so far as to ban Washington Summit Publishers, which is the book publishing imprint of NPI, and hasn't tweeted in nearly a year. They've also banned John Rivers, John Rivers 2, who was a very popular alt-right account, talk mainly about racial and like IQ differences. They banned Ricky Vaughn again, and they banned a number of other
avatar.
What? He's the guy with the.
That was the guy with the Green Arrow avatar, wasn't it?
Yes, he was banned.
Just trying to remember specifically who that one was.
Yeah, so Ricky Van's recent account was banned, and they've also banned a number of other accounts. One account called Fashy Trump Memes was banned, even though that account never tweeted at anyone, never interacted with anyone. It just posted Fashy Trump Memes. Well, gentlemen,
it's worth noting the specific language that's been added to the report function. Quote. Sorry, how is this tweet abusive or harmful? It directs hate against a race, religion, gender, or orientation. That is the new standard. And I think it's worth pointing out right now, and everybody here and most of you listening have all called this already, that hate speech or hate crimes, any of this hate legislation is ultimately all about censorship. You don't need hate legislation to say that dressing in pointy hats and burning a cross on the black guy's lawn is crime. Okay, all crimes are hate crimes. The hate designation is purely intended for censorship purposes.
Well, yeah, everybody's targeting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people on the right have pointed that out for 20 years, and it's obvious. I mean, the argument the left would use is that you're by engaging in this or that hate activity, whatever you want to call it, you're attacking a whole community. It's some sort of, underlying
it has disproportionate harm. It's like murdering somebody is bad, but murdering somebody because you don't like where they put their dick is even worse. That's
the idea is you're not just murdering that person, you're attempting to intimidate the whole community. I understand where that comes from, but the problem is, it's just, particularly when you're dealing with words, when you're dealing with mere words, okay, it completely destroys any concept of free speech. Absolutely, because again, obviously people get, it's not, there's no uniform standard. I mean, the amount of abuse that fucking Forney alone gets, ought to result in wave after wave of accounts being banned and nothing happens.
Yeah, actually, I'll give us a specific example.
Thing to go after the right.
I'll give a specific example of this kind of abuse. There's this guy, this anarchist on Twitter, I think his name is Captain Howdy or something. Back when I was reporting on the Republican National Convention, he actually posted that he would give $100 in bail money to anyone who physically attacked me. He tried to start up a bail fund for any of the anarchists.
That's actually a crime.
That is a crime. And I reported him to Twitter, and as well as someone else who pledged $100 towards a bail fund of anyone who physically attacked me. Twitter actually told me they were not going to suspend either of them because they were not breaking the rules. And
well,
in fact, it's actually
the rules of the United States of America, let alone Twitter.
I've actually fucking sent this over to Alan Bokhari at Breitbart. He reported on it, and still Twitter did nothing.
Well, the reason Pax Dickinson got banned, according to him, is Josh Whedon, the Avengers director and Buffy creator and overall faggot, tweeted something about, we can't let Trump even have one term. And basically his language was hinting around at insurrection, assassination, what have you, which is obviously against fucking Twitter, rules, if not, bordering on illegal. Well, Pax Dickinson tweeted under it, why don't you just come out and say what you mean, you faggot? You're calling for an assassination. Pax Dickinson was banned for that tweet. Nothing has happened to Joss Whedon.
Yeah, no, listen, the reason I want to emphasize that we all called this wasn't a big pat on the back moment, but rather, this is not a slippery slope fallacy. We all called this quite some time ago. And what's happening right now, the left is finally showing its true colors. And we need to understand this is not just the quote-unquote regressive left. which the moderate gamer cucks like to complain about. It's the gamer cucks as well. The moderates are just a cover for the extreme edge of the left. From day one, hate speech legislation has been about attacking straight white males, attacking the core of the country. I mean, if we were over in Africa and they had hate speech legislation, it would be attacking black straight males.
Yeah,
but that's what we need to emphasize. There is no slippery slope here.
Yeah, all the arguments the left uses for it, they evaporate the moment you look at how it's actually applied, and it's applied in a completely one-sided way. I don't necessarily buy into those arguments. I don't buy into those arguments, but I can at least understand them. But again, as soon as you see how it's applied, you see that wasn't the point. That was never the point.
Yes, it wasn't that
silence enemies.
It wasn't that 2008 was okay, but we've just gone a little bit too far. It's that 2008 was nothing but a setup for where we are right now, except that, we got Trump elected, thank the Lord. It's always moving in that direction. It's not a slippery slope. It is an organized conspiracy. This is why they throw out the term conspiracy theory so much.
You mentioned Trump, and see that's the thing, and not just because of Trump, but I am neither surprised nor worried by this. I'm not surprised because Twitter's been doing this for years. It's just they've now amplified it. But this is the same sort of bullshit they've pulled forever, for several years. It's the reason why Twitter is slowly dying, and things like Gab are on the ascent. Just waiting for one major celebrity to pick up.
I want to point out something specific here. It's one of the features that Twitter rolled out today as part of the new hate speech initiative. They actually ripped off one of Gab's features, the feature where you can mute certain words, so that if someone, tweets at you, for example, if someone tweets faggot at you, you can mute faggot so that you'll never see it. That was a feature that Gab implemented when they started, and it's a feature that Twitter stole because they're fucking afraid that Gab is going to eat their lunch. And Gab isn't eating their lunch with them banning guys like Richard Spencer now, who is neither of you have met Richard Spencer. He's a gentleman. I've got my issues with him politically, but he's a gentleman. He's a consummate polite guy who never has. He's so fucking polite. He was not breaking the rules in any way. For that matter, neither was Pax Dickinson. Or as you mentioned, Backloff, if Pax Dickinson was in violation of the rules, Joss Whedon should be getting a knock on his door from the Secret Service right about now.
Oh yeah, but see that's the thing. I'm not all that worried about it. I'm looking at Twitter doing this, and I'm kind of just laughing.
Yeah, I mean,
because this is like a pathetic attempt to revenge. Shove the genie back in the bottle.
It's revenge, basically, because the reason Pax Dickinson and others, like as Rini said, predicted that Twitter would try to purge right-wingers. No, not try, but would at some point. But here's the thing. It's a week after the election. Trump is president now. We won.
Pax Dickinson has said he's planning on suing Twitter. And, I mean, and the left always likes to throw this in your face. Well, Twitter's a private company. They can do what they want, although they don't feel that way about Twitter baking cakes for gays.
Twitter could have banned us like a week before the election or a month before the election, before Trump was elected. But the reason they didn't is because they were so confident that Hillary would win and so confident that our memeing and our exposing the truth wouldn't do anything that they just did nothing. So this is a pathetic – Jack Dorsey is basically – he and George Soros right now are locked in a competition to be who can be the biggest sore loser.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. None of this is going to work. None of this is going to do anything more than make Jack further look like a jackass.
And that's the reason to emphasize this, is to make Jack, and through him, the rest of the left, to make them look like jackasses.
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing. I just want to make sure none of us are – nobody listening to this. Don't get panicky. Don't get upset. Just laugh at it. If they come for your account, make a fucking new one. Or just go on Gab. Or shitpost elsewhere or something. It doesn't matter. This is the flailing around of a dying. This is the death throes of leftist establishment.
Well, and can I make an observation too? The irony of Twitter doing this. Like you take Facebook. All right, I barely use Facebook anymore because even though I have a bunch of good people on my feed, a bunch of intelligent people, it's a case of the medium is the message, and Facebook is an idiot box for idiots. It would be a perfect hug box. Yeah, kick off everybody that's conservative and nothing but old ladies and college feminists get to be on Facebook and they could all share cat memes together. Like when you share a philosophy article on Facebook, it immediately gets stupider because it's on Facebook. So that would work for Facebook if they were doing this nonsense. The irony is that Twitter, A, it's a free speech platform. That is the entire point of Twitter, is to be a free speech platform. And B, the reason all the lefties are on Twitter is because they love hate reading. If it weren't for all of the trolls on the alt-right posting memes to upset them, they would leave Twitter. They're only there to see the things they hate and complain about it. And by banning us, you're destroying your business from both angles, from this free speech angle, and even the lefty hug boxes won't like it anymore.
Yeah. It's basically, Twitter's primary growth has come from alt-righters, right-wingers, people who are outside of the SJW hug box. What spurred Twitter's biggest spike of growth, in fact, the only spike of growth they've had in the past couple of years, was back 2 years ago when Gamergate was getting started. Moot, the cuck, Christopher Poole, Cuck Poole, decided to ban all Gamergate discussion from 4chan because his girlfriend had a sad or whatever stupid story. Yeah, I forget the specifics of the story, but he was a literal cuck. So he banned discussion of Gamergate from 4chan and then banned anyone who discussed it from the site. So where did all those people go? They went to Twitter. Twitter got a shot in the arm from all these disaffected, free speech crusaders who were tired of being censored And then Twitter decided to start caving to the social justice wars, like, well, I'm being threatened. I don't feel like in a safe environment. I don't feel safe on Twitter. And as a result, Twitter's growth has been stagnant. Not just stagnant, they've been losing users for a good solid year. Their stock price has been in decline. They've had several rearrangements of their top personnel because the site has been around for 10 years, yet they have yet to turn a profit. And they have driven yet another nail into their own coffin with this purge.
Now, listen, I know you said don't be worried, Beckloff, and you're right. This is an absolute joke. Okay, I mean, Twitter was a really good platform, but it's slowly self-immolating, and we've got Gab as the replacement. And quite frankly, when I get banned from Twitter, I'm probably not coming back. I'm just going over to Gab full time. And I'll just wait for that to get big again, because the hell with Twitter. But if you recall, back in September, Obama sold the, just a second, I need to look it up, the ICANN, ICANN, which is it's the American corporation that registers all domain names. He transferred ownership of that to the United Nations. And just earlier today, I tweeted out a 2.5-minute video of Obama speaking to the people and the United Nations, all about how the Wild West of information needs to go away. We can't allow people to talk about whether or not Elvis is still alive and the moon landing was faked. So we need to decide which information gets to the top. We need to start controlling it, which is precisely what Twitter was doing throughout this election. 20 retweets on a CNN article, top of the news. 200 retweets on an alt-right article, buried.
Yeah, but that's just it. It didn't work. See, that's the thing. None of this worked. That's why I'm not all that concerned. I mean, yeah, we got to keep an eye on it. We got to fight it, but none of it worked, and none of it's gonna work. The only thing I worry about in the next couple of years is that, some shitbag neocon within the Republican Party gets too much of Trump's ear. But, I mean, his party, and it's his party, make no mistake, it's got a greater seize on the government at both federal and state levels than any party's had in eons. It's too little too late.
Well, yeah, we run this house. Like, I'm going to go...
moving forward with all of this,
I just saw on Twitter somebody, and I couldn't retweet it because, of course, she blocked me, even though I don't know who this person was. But somebody took a snapshot of it where she was all, in tears about the election, and she said, "Oh my God, it's so terrible. Basically, your block list is running the country right now." I'm like, "You goddamn right."
Yeah, I'm gonna be in DC this weekend for the MPI conference. As soon as I get some spare time, I'm gonna amble over to the White House because, fun fact, we're having the MPI conference is gonna be at the Reagan Building, which is right next to the White House. I'm going to go up front wearing my Trump button and maybe see if I can get a red, MAGA hat and just take some pictures. We own this house now, bitches. We run the goddamn country. There's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Trump is about ready to run another black family out of public housing.
Remember, it's soon. Any of you lefties listening, it's going to be, as soon as he nominates that Supreme Court judge, it's going to be all three branches of government. How does that feel, lefties? Please go riot some more.
He's going to get to nominate 2 in his term. He may get to nominate up to 3.
Exactly. One, and we control the judiciary. And he's going to get 2 more to put in for life terms.
See, that's the thing. I mean, there's stuff to be worried about, but it's the cocks and the traitors within the Republican side that I'm more worried about. The left is deballed. The left they've been sent in the corner with no dinner. They've been punished. This is them just thrashing around.
The reason that we clutch our pearls and say, "Can you believe that Twitter is silencing free speech?" We all know what's going on and we know it doesn't matter. The reason we clutch our pearls is for the rest of the public out there. And at the same time as all of this is going on, now we have the left rioting, burning down cities. There's going to be a big protest on January 20th in Washington, D.C., and they're telling all the members to wear black for it. The thing is that when this happens, we do need to keep egging them on by being shitlords, but we should also be presenting a positive image, a positive thought of what should America be. And a really good, an easy to remember phrase I read earlier today, I forgot who put it together, but might have been Bloody Shovel. We believe in an America where a man can support his family on a single income. Boom, there's a picture right there. So we have these violent, they're taking away women's rights. You have these violent, pathetic, ugly protesters running around the streets. And so we are not like them when we win.
I've got breaking news. This has just happened. Torba Hawks, Andrew Torba, the CEO of Gab, he has been banned from Twitter.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. That.
boy, you really. I'm not even sure what to say to this. Does it even need commentary?
Yeah, the fact that I realize that it's new media and there's all sorts of new things to figure out, but the fact that that Jack can't turn a profit on Twitter, the motherfucker couldn't run a bordello in a gold rush. I mean, I can't imagine server costs are that high.
Well,
I can't imagine you need that high of a staff. And just from running ads, you should be able to turn a profit, and you and your small little staff should be living in Fat City.
Yeah, it should be the sort of thing that you check in once a week to see if there's anything you need to do.
Well, another thing, too, is that Jack Dorsey may have done this in the middle of heat. I mean, everyone knows that he enjoys DeRay, being where he shouldn't be, if you get my drift.
Wait, what? So, you're going to have to spell this out for me. I try and avoid learning about cancerous faggots.
Jack Dorsey and DeRay McKenzie of Black Lives Matter are lovers.
Jack Dorsey loves the soul pole. You heard it here first.
Yes. And this hasn't come out in the mainstream media, but it was revealed by Chuck Johnson a while back. Plus, if you look at Jack Dorsey, well, everyone knows that DeRay is gay. He's openly gay. And Jack Dorsey talks about how he loves Black Lives Matter. The two of them are always pictured together. And Jack Dorsey has the gayest gay face I've ever seen.
So do you think there's enough methamphetamine and bottoming that will make him feel better after this little temper tantrum, or will he still feel like a pathetic loser tomorrow?
Jack Dorsey, given his lifestyle proclivities, in 10 years, there's a good chance he will be swinging from a rope of his own accord.
He might look like Bill Clinton. 10 years from now, he's going to look like Bill Clinton.
By the way, Jack, if you're listening to this, and I'm pretty sure you've got at least one of your goons following my every move online, Jack, you are a faggot. 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 You're a nigger-loving faggot. You faggot.
Pax Dickinson just tweeted out.
Come at me, bro. Fight me IRL.
PAX
Do you
Dickinson
think
just
Jack
tweeted out
Dorsey
that-
fantasizes about being murdered by black thugs for his white privilege while getting topped by whoever that other guy is?
Jesus, man. This is dark even by my taste.
What?
But PAX Dickinson just
Hey,
tweeted
man,
out a
this is.
picture.
I'll tell you what, Beckloff, Common Filth changed the internet. It's even worse now, but it's also more righteous.
PAX Dickinson gabbed out a picture of himself, that picture of him with the middle fingers up. And he's just like, you're too late. We already won. And he's right. What are they going to do? And he's talking about maybe suing him. And again, I don't like the idea that a private industry should be forced to provide service against its will.
Well, no, there's
the law of the land. So
there's a legal background for this. Common carriers.
That's the law of the land.
I would argue that Twitter is a common carrier. Google is a common carrier. Guess what? The electrical company doesn't get to say, I don't like your political opinions and shut your power off. If you're a common carrier...
Even common carrier aside, I mean, we're at a point right now where, you can't decide to not bake a cake for somebody, okay? So, yeah, Twitter doesn't get to decide who gets to be on Twitter anymore. All judges would have to do is look at the laws that's been applied.
Let this have spent the decades taking a sledgehammer to the concept of free association, and now they want to invoke it to get rid of people they don't like.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work that way. You can't pick this up as a shield because you shattered it. Well, I mean, he might not win because you never know what a judge is going to do, but he could take him to court if he's got the funds, if he's got a lawyer to do it. He could fuck up their shit. I mean, they don't have a lot of money in reserve. I guarantee it.
They've got.
PAX Dickinson could own Twitter if this goes one way.
Trust me.
After the year we've had, it wouldn't surprise me.
Trust me, poppers and coke are pretty expensive, particularly if you use them at the rate that Jack Dorsey does. They don't have any cash on hand. If they get a good lawsuit or a good few lawsuits, because Chuck Johnson has been moving towards suing them for a while now, they're done. It's gonna be a rerun of what happened with Gawker.
They might get it together for a class action suit. I mean, I'm not exactly sure how that shit works, but that seems like the perfect thing for a class action suit.
I've already been banned from Twitter once. I'm going to be a signatory to that shit. You're going down, motherfucker.
I'm probably not going to get banned because somehow I managed to never piss people off. And I don't know how. I mean, despite my best effort, I don't really piss off a lot of people. But, if they ban me, fucking big deal. I just put up another one. I don't care.
Yeah, if I get banned from Twitter at this stage, it's not going to do anything because I've got most of my audience over at my blog. They've actually migrated over to Gab. I'm closing in on 1,000 Gab followers now, which doesn't sound like a lot considering I've got like 10,000 on Twitter. But given that Gab is got less than 10% of Twitter's user base at this point, it's a pretty big deal. And I make most of my money from book sales and Google searches and article fees anyway. So what Twitter will do, I've had my influence, man.
I've got about the same ratio. I've got about 300 following me 3,000 following me on Twitter, and I've got 300 following me on Gab.
Yeah, it's about the same for me. I got about 1,300 on Twitter, and I got like 130 on Gab right now. And I'm barely ever even on Gab. I keep forgetting I have it.
That's probably the core of our audience. Like you guys that are actually commenting right now on the live stream. The most it's like 80% of the effects come from 20% of the causes. Okay, like we've got the significant portion, and there's probably a lot of casual followers that just they'll move over when basically we are at that 10% where it goes boom and it becomes mainstream. So yeah, Gab is winning.
Yeah, I'm actually and related to us basically having won the war already, I'm actually finishing up an article, Return of Kings, on how to help people apply for jobs in the Trump administration. We're going to be seeing shitlords who grew up reading Return of Kings or grew up reading Radix or being part of the alt-right working in the government now. How does it feel, bitches? How does it feel?
Yeah, my cousin's actually an Air Force pilot and are helicopter pilots. That'll come in really handy.
Believe me, half the military is red pill. And you know what? All of you lefties out there, we know who you are. You have been dancing around and gloating. We know you're a threat.
You know, I saw a tweet earlier today, and it was somebody who tweeted, and it was actually because I checked out that Josh Whedon Pax Dickinson exchange, and I was looking at his Twitter, and he had retweeted this stupid cunt, and she was all like, right wingers making fun of us for mourning this election. You don't understand. We're mourning for you too. This is everybody's loss. And I'm like, fuck you. You spent 8 years trying to destroy and silence us for having a disagreement, and you're mourning for us now? Go fuck yourself.
The thing is, we have a complete, at the very foundational level, we believe in an absolute truth, whether you call it absolute truth or God or perfected beauty or the logically extracted morality coming from the nature of humanity. We believe in an absolute truth that we can only pursue and never reach. They believe that whatever they feel, that they can make truth whatever they want, that the human opinion, not thought, but human opinion is the most superior thing in the universe, and they are going to feel their way into a better world. And us, with our ugly mechanical reality and our hopes for the afterlife and whatever, that we are destroying their fantasies. There is no negotiation with them.
You can't negotiate with people who are this fundamentally mentally ill. People who think it's a good idea to mark themselves by wearing safety pins in protest of Trump.
Oh my God!
I point out the irony of that. The people who are comparing Trump to Hitler are choosing to visibly mark themselves with identifying markers, and doing so in such a fashion that makes everyone around them want to slap them. They don't get the irony, the joke.
The cuck that's writing Star Wars The Cuck Awakens or whatever the new stupid Star Wars movie. If you're still watching Star Wars, man, grow up, okay? There were 3 kind of cool movies that were a little bit juvenile back in the 80s. Since then, Star Wars has sucked. The expanded universe was okay, but aside from that, the movies have sucked. Stop watching Star Wars.
Star Wars has been for faggots since 1999 at least.
Exactly. And the writer or director or whatever, I don't care who he is because I don't care about the movie, he's encouraging all the lefties and Hillary supporters to wear the rebel icon with a safety pin because, you know, the empire represents white supremacism and Donald Trump. But I just, could you imagine Luke Skywalker running around with the safety pin and like a pacifier around his neck and like pink hair?
It's nauseating, but the thing is, we've won. So right now, we're basically in the state. We're like in the video game stage where you've basically, like the old Command and Conquer games, where you've accomplished the main objective, but there's still enemies straggling around the map, so you got to go hunt them all down. That's basically it. And this attempted purge is too little, too late. Just a roadblock on the. It doesn't even qualify as like a twig on the train tracks getting barreled over the Trump train, because this train ain't got no brakes, buddy.
John White in the comments just said, Luke Cockstalker. That's what they should have named the female in The Cuck Awakens. Lucina Cockstalker.
Oh, no, man. Because that would have broken their rule of giving her some sort of personality. Yeah, because I can't remember her name. So we can't have anything memorable about her.
At least a slut has good female instincts, to quote, Star Trek now, to really make things dorky.
Man, I think we've covered a lot, and we've covered pretty much everything we need to cover here.
I'll just toss out one last thing. These people that we're up against are like, most people don't have an opinion, okay? And so they subscribe to Sargon of Akkad. Most people don't want to think about politics, but the ones that are pushing the leftist narrative, the ones that have turned half this country into Democrats, are a bunch of losers and failures and welfare recipients And you've got a couple of big money, maniacal George Soroses out there that want to pull the strings of everybody and watch the monkey dance. But honestly, to destroy the left, allow them to burn out their own ideology, which they're doing for us, and defund them. That simple.
Exactly. Backloff, do you have any thoughts to add?
Yeah. I mean, think back, and it seems so long ago, doesn't it, to the far-off year of 2013. You know, back. I believe dinosaurs roamed the earth back then, and think back to those dark days when, like, you know, the world was run by SJWs and Anita Sarkeesian was speaking before the UN and all this other shit. And when you get down on stuff like the Twitter ban and all, just realize it's not 2013 anymore. They are so fucking powerless. The only power they had was convincing everyone who disagreed with them that they were alone. And that's gone. That's gone. You know, Gamergate stabbed the beast and showed the world that it could bleed, and now Trump has run a boot through its neck. That's gone. I look at this and I laugh. I'm smiling at it. I'm like, that's cute. Because it does it. Fuck them.
It's fucking adorable.
Yeah, it's just adorable. Like, this isn't 2013 anymore, guys. Truly, as that one chick said, your blacklist is running this show.
This is like the extinction burst of social justice, of leftism.
And
right
you know
here.
what? That's kind of why they didn't see it coming, too.
Jack Dorsey.
I said eventually they would block enough of us that we would form a new society outside.
Jack Dorsey is broken and snapping in anger while squirting KY jelly and effluent out his other end.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's incredible. We've won basically, and there was a point I was going to bring up here, but like you said, Beckloff, this is the extinction burst of social justice of the left. We've seen in the past week in their reactions to Trump's victory, they've learned nothing. They're doubling down on what basically cost them the election and more or less control this entire country. I mean, right now, Keith Ellison, the gay black Muslim congressman from Minneapolis, who also happens to be a supporter of ISIS and a hater of Jews, is the front runner to become the head of the DNC. They're in for a long, painful 8 years.
You know what? It's even happening.
Because they couldn't find a black transsexual in a wheelchair.
Well, you could always just kick Michelle Obama down the stairs.
I mean, they might as well make Amy Schumer the head of the DNC while they're at it.
The most hilarious thing I saw was that fucking Kamala Harris, who is the senator-elect from California, this Indian/black woman, is already being talked about in the media as a potential challenger to Trump in 2020. The only reason I found that out was because I was doing. There's a good follower, guy on Twitter. I don't know how much longer he's going to be on there. I think his name is J5. Cool guy. He pointed out that a good portion of why the Trump quote unquote lost the popular vote, when you factor out California, Trump won the popular vote. What tipped Hillary over the edge in California was the fact that the way the electoral system is set up there. This year, the only GOP candidate on the ballot in much of the state was Donald Trump. The Senate race was between two Democrats because no Republican who was popular enough qualified to go into the second round. So a lot of Republicans in California just stayed home and didn't vote. So that's where the margin came from. So I was looking this up, and I found out on Kamala Harris's Wikipedia page, she's being talked about as a potential contender for 2020. You can't see me, but I'm making like gun motions towards my temples right now.
Yeah, well,
this is how stupid these people are.
You take out the illegal and the fictional and the dead vote, and I'm wondering if Hillary really did get the popular vote.
Well, there were 3 million illegals voted in this election.
Yep.
And I believe that she was leading him at last count by 500,000.
And those illegals won't be voting in the next election because they're not really voting machines in Mexico.
Well, coincidentally, California, illegals can get driver's licenses, and coincidentally, a driver's license also allows you to vote in California. So But it doesn't matter. We won. We won. We
And that's the thing. Unless they increase the amount of electoral votes California has between now and then, California, she can win California by 1 billion votes, and it doesn't matter.
Oh, that would
Because
be
it's going to her
nice.
anyways. So unless they change the number of electoral votes between now and then, okay, she's got those votes.
Yeah, it's pretty much done.
Or whoever the hell runs, I don't know.
It's gonna be.
It's gonna be some non-binary furry that they're gonna run.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Chris Chan. That's who they're gonna run. Is he gonna be 35 by 2020?
I think he already is.
All right then.
Well, yeah, he
found the next Democrat candidate.
We all know he's. We already know he's
a great again.
Yeah, though I don't know if he might get arrested for all the death threats he's made against Trump and Vice President.
Well, he might also die from that gaping wound on his taint between them.
But
speaking of, Beckloff, do you think discussing Jack Dorsey counts as retard sex for this podcast?
I think that counts. I'll allow it.
Okay, perfect. One more thing before we go. I want to talk about Gab. That's the social network we've been talking about. Gab is the Twitter replacement. Get on Gab. If you're not on Gab, get on Gab. Gab.ai.
Everybody worth a damn is on Gab.
Coincidentally, everyone on this live stream is on Gab. You can follow me on Gab at gab.ai/Matt Forney. Note that's Matt Forney, not real Matt Forney, not base Matt Forney, but just Matt Forney. Because I was the first Matt Forney to get on there, and I'm the only one that matters. So gab.ai/Matt Forney. Beckloff is on Gab at gab.ai/the Beckloff. Exact same handle he has on Twitter. Davis is on Gab at gab.ai/DavisMJArini. For some reason, Arini is not using the same handle as he does on Twitter, but you can find him there. Get on Gab. It's basically here's an example. Gab has implemented features that Twitter should have had 10 years ago. Like, for example, Gab has the ability to edit your posts. So you can, if you make a typo, you can just fix it without having to delete your entire post and rewrite it. It's like magic, kids. It's like magic. But get on Gab and follow all of us on Gab.
I think there's a waiting list still when you get on there, but
they're actually accelerating it now because according to Andrew Torbo, this is actually the best day Gab has ever had. For obvious fucking reasons. They've got tons of new signups. They're going to be taking the site out of beta soon. So, get on Gab, and you can say you were on Gab before it was cool. But anyway, I've been talking to Davis Arini and the Beckloff. You can check out Davis's website at Stairs of the World. There's stairsattheworld.com. That's stairs as in, staring at some chick's tits, not stairs as in the things you climb up to get to your shitty one-room apartment.
It is a grammatically correct title.
It's from Iron Man, the song by Black Sabbath, you heathens. Actually, not you heathens, you plebes. Anyway, stairsoftheworld.com, twitter.com/Arini for now, youtube.com/user/Arini, and as I mentioned, gab.ai/DavisMJArini. We've also been talking to the Beckloff. You can check out his YouTube channel and subscribe.